the bank manager said. He had your ID, your passwords, everything. I smiled and asked, did he show the burn scar on his right hand? Because mine's on the left. The security footage revealed. Being an identical twin has its challenges, but I never thought identity theft would be one of them. Not until my brother Alex decided to steal my life, starting with my bank account. I'm Daniel Foster, 34, a cardiac surgeon at Metropolitan General Hospital. Alex and I were always the perfect mirror images of each other, down to the smallest detail. Well, almost perfect. The burn scar on my left hand, his on the right, was the only visible difference between us. A childhood accident that marked us forever, in more ways than one. Dr. Foster, I assure you all proper identification protocols were followed. Barbara Chin, the bank manager, maintained her professional composure even as she delivered the impossible news. The gentleman who accessed your account provided all necessary documentation and correctly answered every security question, including my mother's maiden name, my first pet's name, the street I grew up on. I kept my voice level, though inside I was seething. Of course, Alex knew all those answers. We'd shared the same childhood, the same memories. Until the day he decided to throw it all away. Everything, Barbara confirmed. He even knew about the CD that matured last month. The one you specifically requested we not auto-renew. The CD containing my half of our parents' life insurance money. The money I'd been saving for the pediatric cardiac care unit I wanted to establish. The money Alex had apparently transferred to an offshore account just hours ago. I'd like to see the security footage, I said quietly. Barbara hesitated. Sir, I understand this is distressing, but if you're suggesting bank security was compromised. I'm not suggesting anything of the sort. I pulled up my left sleeve, revealing the burn scar that curved from my wrist to my elbow. I'm telling you that the man who came in here wasn't me. He's my identical twin brother, and his scar is on the right hand. Her eyes widened slightly. Twins. Identical. Almost. I managed a grim smile. The security footage will show which hand has the scar. That should be proof enough that someone impersonated me, even if that someone shares my DNA. She nodded slowly, tapping at her computer. Yes, I see. We do have very clear footage from this morning's transaction. But Dr. Foster. She turned the monitor toward me. There's no scar visible in these images. Either hand. I stared at the screen. There I was, or rather, there was Alex, wearing an expensive suit I'd never seen before, chatting casually with the teller. His hands were clearly visible, and they were unmarked. That's impossible, I whispered. The scars are permanent. We got them 25 years ago, during the fire. The fire. The memory hit me like a physical blow. Smoke and screams and two terrified 9-year-old boys trying to save each other. The burning beam that fell between us, marking us forever differently even as it proved we'd do anything to protect each other. Or at least, that's what I'd always believed. When exactly was this transaction processed? I asked, my mind racing. Barbara checked her records. 10:47 a.m. this morning. I was in surgery. I pulled out my phone, showing her my schedule. Aortic valve replacement started at 8:30 a.m., finished at 2:15 p.m. There are dozens of witnesses who can confirm I was in the operating room the entire time. Her professional mask cracked slightly. I'll need to escalate this to our security team. If you'll excuse me for a moment. As she stepped out, I examined the footage more closely. Alex looked confident, relaxed. Nothing like the desperate man I'd last seen 5 years ago, when he'd shown up at my door asking for yet another loan to cover his gambling debts. I'm done enabling you, I'd told him then. Get help or don't come back. He hadn't come back. Until now. But something wasn't adding up. The missing scar was impossible. We'd both had them checked by plastic surgeons over the years, been told they were permanent. And Alex had never been able to afford the kind of suit he was wearing in that footage. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello, brother. Alex's voice, but different somehow. Smoother. Figured out how I did it yet. The scar isn't the only thing that's changed. He chuckled. Check your email. The one you don't tell anyone about. The one you use for your private research. My heart stopped. Nobody knew about that email account. I used it exclusively for communicating with other surgeons about experimental procedures, treatments that weren't quite ready for official channels. What have you done? Nothing yet. But you might want to take a look at the attachment I just sent. And Danny, don't bother trying to trace this call. Things are different now. The line went dead. With trembling fingers, I opened my secure email account. There it was, a message from an address I didn't recognize, with a video attachment. The video showed an operating room. My operating room from 3 months ago. A surgery that had gone wrong, a patient who hadn't made it. But the angle was impossible, as if someone had been recording from inside the surgical light above the table. Dr. Foster? Barbara had returned, accompanied by 2 men in dark suits. These gentlemen are from our security division. They'd like to ask you some questions about your brother. I stared at them, my mind whirling. This wasn't just about stolen money anymore. Alex hadn't just found a way to hide his scar. He'd found something much bigger. Something that had given him access to places he shouldn't have been able to reach. Before we start, I said carefully, I need to make a call. There's someone else who needs to be involved in this conversation. Oh, Barbara raised an eyebrow. Yes. I pulled out my card, handed it to her. Detective Sarah Martinez, Financial Crimes Division. Because this isn't just fraud we're dealing with. I glanced back at my phone, at the paused video showing an impossible angle of my operating room. This is about Project Mirror. The security men exchanged glances. One of them touched his earpiece, whispered something I couldn't hear. Dr. Foster, Barbara said, her voice suddenly different. I think we should continue this conversation somewhere more private. As she led us toward a conference room in the back, I thought about the last thing Alex had said to me 5 years ago, before he disappeared. You think you know everything, don't you, Danny? But there are mirrors within mirrors, and sometimes what you see isn't what's really there. I was about to find out just how right he'd been. The bank's conference room felt more like an interrogation chamber. The 2 security men, who I now suspected weren't bank employees at all, stood by the door while Barbara made a series of urgent phone calls. My own phone buzzed again. Detective Martinez, stay where you are. Don't tell them anything about Mirror. Backup coming. The Mirror Project. 3 months ago, it had just been an experimental medical imaging system I was helping develop. A way to create perfect, real-time replicas of patients' organs for precision surgery. But somewhere along the line, it had become something else entirely. Dr. Foster, one of the security men, finally spoke. What exactly do you know about your brother's activities over the past 5 years? Why don't you tell me? I countered. Since you're clearly not bank security. NSA? CIA? He didn't answer, but his slight shift in posture told me I was right. Your brother's been busy, the second man said. Though I suspect you already know that, given your own involvement in certain research projects. My mind raced back through the past few months. The strange glitches in the mirror system during surgeries. The way it sometimes seemed to capture angles that should have been impossible. The increasing interest from government consultants in what should have been a purely medical technology. The surgery video Alex sent, I said slowly. That angle could only have been captured if the imaging system was doing more than just creating medical replicas, a new voice finished. Detective Sarah Martinez strode into the room, flanked by her own team. Step away from Dr. Foster. He's under federal protection. The NSA men didn't move. This is a matter of national security. This is a matter of criminal conspiracy and illegal human experimentation, Martinez cut in. She turned to me. Tell them what you found in the Mirror Project data last week. The real reason you created that secure email account. Last week. The anomaly in the system that I discovered during a routine calibration. A pattern that shouldn't have been possible, organic material being not just scanned, but somehow altered. The mirror system wasn't just imaging organs, I said quietly. It was changing them, rewriting their structure at a cellular level. That's how Alex did it, how he removed his scar. He used my own technology to literally rewrite his body. Barbara Chin gasped. The NSA men's faces remained impassive, but their tension was palpable. 5 years ago, Martinez took over. Alex Foster disappeared after allegedly stealing classified research from a private military contractor. Research about manipulating human tissue at a quantum level. Research that somehow found its way into his brother's supposedly civilian medical project. My head spun. I didn't know. The base code for Mirror came from a medical imaging company. A front, Martinez explained. Set up by Alex using his gambling debts as cover for his real activities. He wasn't losing money at cards, Dr. Foster. He was using underground games to make contacts, to find buyers for stolen military tech. But somewhere along the line, he discovered something that changed everything. Project Echo, one of the NSA men finally spoke. The military application of what you call mirror technology. The ability to not just image, but remake human tissue. Perfect disguise. Perfect infiltration. Perfect weapons, I whispered, understanding at last. Living cameras that could be anywhere, record anything. Spies who could literally become anyone. Which is why, Martinez said, when Alex discovered what the technology could really do, he decided to stop selling it. To destroy it instead. Starting with the proof of concept, his own scar. My phone buzzed again. Another email from Alex, this time with a single line of text. Check the Mirror server logs. Password, burning beam. The NSA men moved forward, but Martinez's team already had weapons drawn. Dr. Foster is going to access those logs right now, she declared. Because what's in them isn't just about military secrets. It's about murder. My hands shook as I pulled up the server interface on my phone. The password, referencing the accident that had marked us, opened not just logs, but a hidden video file. Alex's face filled the screen, but not the smooth, unmarked version from the bank. This was my brother as I remembered him, scar and all. Danny, if you're watching this, they've finally figured it out. The Echo project isn't about espionage. It's about control. They've been using mirror technology in hospitals across the country, gathering data, testing their ability to rewrite human tissue. But it goes wrong. People die. Like your patient 3 months ago. The failed surgery. The impossible camera angle. Understanding hit me like a physical blow. They used him as a test subject, I breathed. Without consent. Without anyone knowing. Hundreds of patients, Martinez confirmed. The mirror system was collecting data, attempting minor alterations. Sometimes it worked. Usually it didn't. Your brother accessed the first test results 2 years ago, the NSA man said. He should have reported it through proper channels. Proper channels? Alex's voice dripped sarcasm in the video. They're all compromised. The military, the oversight committees, even the hospitals. That's why I had to do it this way. Had to show you the truth, Danny. The money I stole today? Look where it really went. I pulled up my banking app. The transfers weren't to an offshore account. They were to hundreds of small donations, to patient advocacy groups, medical ethics organizations, investigative journalism outlets, along with encrypted files containing proof of Echo's illegal experiments. By now they've figured out I used the mirror tech on myself, Alex continued. Removed the scar to prove it could be done. But that's not the important part. The important part is what else I found in the system. The proof that Echo isn't just about changing bodies. It's about changing memories. Making people forget what was done to them. Making them forget who they really are. The NSA men were speaking urgently into their earpieces now. Martinez's team had them covered, but tension filled the room. The bank transfer was just to get your attention, Alex explained. To make you look closer at what's really happening in your operating room. In operating rooms everywhere. They're using us, Danny. Using doctors to test their memory manipulation tech without our knowledge. But I found a way to block it. Check your left hand. I looked down at my scar and noticed for the first time that it had changed slightly. The pattern was different, incorporating a string of tiny marks that looked almost like binary code, Martinez said softly. Your brother encoded the shutdown sequence for echo directly into your skin, using their own technology against them. It's not just a scar anymore, Alex's video continued. It's the key to ending this, to stopping them from erasing and rewriting people at will. The pattern will spread through the mirror network, corrupting their ability to alter human tissue. By the time they figure out how to stop it, the proof will be everywhere. The NSA men's earpieces crackled with urgent voices. One of them barked into his phone. System crash at all echo sites. Memory alteration protocols failing. Your brother isn't the criminal here, Martinez told me. He's the whistleblower. And you're the key to proving everything he found. Your scar, your surgical records, your mirror project data. It all shows what they were really doing. Barbara Chun, who had been silent throughout this revelation, finally spoke. The bank transfer. He knew they were watching your accounts. He knew this would trigger an investigation. Alex was always better at seeing the big picture, I said quietly. Even when we were kids, even during the fire, he pushed me out of the way of that burning beam, took the scar on his right hand instead of letting it hit my heart. And now he's saved you again, Martinez said. Saved everyone they were experimenting on. The Echo project is finished. My phone buzzed one final time. A text from Alex. Mirror protocol corrupted. Echo project data exposed. Time for me to disappear again. Sorry about borrowing your identity, little brother, by 2 minutes. Take care of that scar. It's more important than you know. Love you. The aftermath was a blur of federal investigations, congressional hearings, and medical ethics reviews. The mirror technology was stripped of its military modifications, returned to its original purpose as a medical imaging tool. Hospitals across the country reviewed thousands of cases, reaching out to patients who might have been unknowingly experimented on. Alex's evidence, distributed through the networks he'd funded with my stolen money, exposed dozens of military and intelligence officials involved in the Echo project. The ability to alter human tissue and memory remained theoretical. The project's successes had been largely fabricated to keep funding flowing. All except one. Somewhere out there, my brother moved through the world with unmarked hands, the only person ever successfully modified by the technology he'd helped expose. His final gift to me, the binary code hidden in my scar, had ensured that such power could never be used again. 6 months later, I stood in my operating room preparing for surgery. The mirror system, now thoroughly vetted and stripped of military modifications, still helped save lives. But I always checked my left hand before each procedure, reminding myself of the thin line between healing and harm, between helping people and controlling them. The bank had found and returned all of Alex's distributed donations, but I'd chosen to make the same payments myself. The patient advocacy groups were building stronger oversight systems, ensuring that medical technology would be used to heal, not harm. Detective Martinez kept me updated on the ongoing investigations, though Alex remained in the wind. Your brother's a ghost now, she told me, but the kind that haunts the right people. Sometimes late at night, I thought I caught glimpses of him, in crowds, in reflections, in the edges of security footage. Always different, never quite the same face twice. A mirror that showed what he chose to show, protecting his final secret. The scar on my left hand tingled occasionally, the binary code a reminder of both what was lost and what was saved. Alex and I had survived the fire as children by protecting each other. We'd survived this new conspiracy the same way. One brother in the light, one in the shadows, both working to ensure that some powers remained beyond reach. In the end, it wasn't about stolen money or secret projects or even revolutionary technology. It was about the choices we make, the lines we draw, and the understanding that sometimes the truest reflection of who we are comes not from mirrors, but from the marks we bear and the reasons we bear them. The next time someone tries to access my bank account, they'll need more than passwords and DNA. They'll need to understand that identity isn't just about faces or scars or memories. It's about the truth we choose to reflect and the people we trust to see it. Alex taught me that. And somewhere out there, wearing any face he chooses, I know he's still watching, still protecting, still making sure that the only things being rewritten are the wrongs we choose to right.